What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. So, good news in the world of boxing. It looks like April 12th, 2014. We are likely to see Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, part two, dos. And this is an awesome thing. And the reason I say likely is because in the sport of boxing, it ain't done until it's done. So, sources are reporting this. I've heard various outlets saying this is a done deal or they basically have the green light, but I just want to see it set in stone. I want to see some press conferences, some flyers made. But it looks likely. It looks like this is the route that Team Pacquiao is choosing. And that's a hell of an option. I really like this decision from Manny Pacquiao. It was he was running out of options. It was Marquez, who doesn't seem like he wants to fight. He says he's content with how the Pacquiao saga ended with the knockout in the fourth fight. So he wants to fight Timothy Bradley or retire. I don't know if he'll fight again. It's really up to him. Then they were also talking about Ruslan Provatnikov, who just had a birthday. And I mean, they're friends, they're stable mates, they're sparring partners, they're buddies. This is a good fight. I didn't mind seeing the Ruslan and Pacquiao fight, but I think that style plays very well into Pacquiao's strong points. And at least in the past, Pacquiao's always excelled against that type of fighter. So I think this is more of a fight where he's going to have to think. Not only based on Timothy Bradley's style, who I think has learned a lot since he initially fought Pacquiao. I mean, just the experience from the Pacquiao fight, the backlash after it, coming back and fighting a dumb fight against Ruslan Provatnikov, almost getting knocked out, to his most recent fight, which was Juan Manuel Marquez. I think Bradley has learned a whole hell of a lot in those three fights. Probably more in those three fights than he has his whole career with the Kendall Holtz and Campbells and Devin Alexander. Just because this is like the top tier. I mean, you're fighting Marquez, you're fighting Pacquiao. Ruslan was game and had you hurt and made you dig down deep. So I really feel he learned a lot in his last three fights, including the Pacquiao fight and how it went. So I'm anxious to see how a rematch would unfold. We know Brick We know Bradley has the skills to pay the bills. I mean, he showed us time and time again why he's undefeated. Just not much punching power, but just a tenacious ability and this willpower, this drive to keep winning, to remain in the fight. And some of you guys were like, "Oh, he's boring." You guys call these fighters boring, but to me, there is something very intriguing. And I like all kinds of styles, but to me, there's something really intriguing about the sweet science. How you can have a guy like Timothy Bradley, Paulie Malignaggi, Richard Brill, somebody who doesn't have much pop. They don't have much force, and yet, based on intelligence, ring generalship, boxing ability, movement, just overall fundamentals, they can beat guys much stronger than them naturally, like Richard Brill versus Brandon Rios, like Timothy Bradley versus Ruslan Provatnikov, or any of the fights like that. To me, that's amazing that a fighter can use his God-given like instinct and senses to a degree where he has the puncher like kind of at the end of his rope. So I mean I don't think it's boring. I always think there's an element of danger when you're in there with someone who's lethal with the punching power like Pacquiao. Pacquiao has the speed, the angles. So when you put him in there with a thinker like Bradley, it's always good because you never know what's going to unfold, what's going to transpire. So, like I said, as a true boxing fan, I really appreciate all the styles, and I'm glad that this fight is taking place. The Ruslan Provatnikov fight, I was cool with it. I didn't think it made the biggest statement. This will, however. Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley. If Pacquiao can clearly and concisely beat Timothy Bradley, no, CJ Ross, she's no longer a boxing judge. And I would hope, I would gone out as hope that based on the backlash the judges received in the first fight, that history would not repeat itself. And I think that would be, I mean, I don't see how you could. That's like Brian Vera versus Chavez Jr. If it has some faulty judging, people are going to be like, yo, what the fuck? Are these fights being paid off or whatever? So I'm not really worried about the judges and Timothy Bradley versus Pacquiao. in terms of like a faulty judge or bad decision. I think the right person would win, especially based on how much spotlight and controversy the first fight caused. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think Timothy Bradley has improved, especially in the mental department. He probably proved some stuff to himself in the Ruslan fight. Pacquiao looked good against Brandon Rios, someone who is more flat-footed, but all in all, it's still a confidence builder fight. It's still a fight that keeps him active, and he needed that going in against someone who's relentless like Brandon Rios and making it look like easy work. That he needs that confidence boost. So I'm looking forward to this. I would definitely pay the pay-per-view wage or whatever to see this fight. I think it's a worthy fight. I think Bradley deserves it. Some people like, see, thing is, I don't hate Pacquiao. I think he's a hell of a fighter. I don't necessarily agree with some of his radical fans, and I think some of you guys are some of the most fickle people in the sport of boxing. And you can say whatever you want about me, but I just hear some of the rationale of diehard extremist Pacquiao fan, and it makes little to no sense. Like after the Timothy Bradley fight, I heard numerous people who were saying, just like what Freddie Roach was saying, "Oh, Bradley can't draw flies to shit. He can't sell. He doesn't put asses in the seat. He's not a draw, so we don't want to fight him." And then fast forward to the future, you guys, some of you guys are the same people who are acting like this is a great fight. Yet Bradley couldn't sell, and now when Pacquiao selects him, like what's the excuse? Like I mean, not even excuse because he selected him, but basically in situation A, you bash this person. Oh, he's a boring fighter, and he can't sell, so Pacquiao doesn't need to fight him. And then when Pacquiao runs out of almost all of his options, you make it like this is the best fight ever, and it is a good fight. But the point being is, why did some of you guys say based on Bradley being boring? Or I also heard people saying, "Oh, Pacquiao, he clearly beat Bradley, so there's nothing to prove. There's no reason for the rematch because he won so clearly." Now that this fight has taken place, you guys are excited. So which one is it? Are you sure he beat him, or are you not sure? Like I said, right after the Bradley fight, I was reading comments from people, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, he already beat him, so there's no point for the rematch." So obviously there is a point for the rematch. Anyway, I'm not trying to knock Pacquiao because I'm proud of him. He actually put some pressure on Mayweather if you think about it, because not that fucking charity shit. Speaking of the charity shit, that video got over 2,000 views like quick, and over 180 comments or something crazy. I had to stop viewing. Like I couldn't even read. People were writing essays and shit. It got a little crazy. So obviously you guys still want the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. I would like to see it. It's just not worth my angst and me deliberating and talking about it excessively. But anyway, on that video, I was talking about the Pacquiao fight and the charity and stuff. I knew that shit wasn't happening. So I'm just happy Pacquiao is selecting his opponent, and his Timothy Bradley. And what I was going to say, as far as Mayweather, I think he puts pressure on Mayweather because there's been an uproar, just pure disgust with the talks of Mayweather and Amir Khan. So now that Pacquiao has selected a tougher, or the tougher option, because Ruslan Provodnikov again is the style. Not saying Ruslan's not a good fighter or not dangerous, because he is. He's a devastating puncher, and if you don't get him out of there, he could be a nightmare for you. He has that relentless drive to him. But statistically, historically, Pacquiao has had better success with that type of style than the pure boxer, the Marquez, the counterpuncher, the Timothy Bradley. If you look at it, he looked probably one of his worst in the Timothy Bradley fight, and Bradley rolled his ankle. So now we can set the record straight with this. And how it puts pressure on Mayweather is because, again, a lot of people aren't too fancy and they're not too fond of the Mayweather Khan fight. So if Pacquiao selects the harder option out of his pool of candidates, and then Mayweather goes the money route, which nobody really feels Amir Khan deserves, minus diehard Amir Khan fans that say, "Oh, his speed will trouble him," then it puts Mayweather, and it kind of make Mayweather look like he's taking the easy route and the money route, which he may do. So Again, props to Pacquiao for selecting the guy that is a puzzle, the guy that is going to make him work for the victory. And may the best man win. Hopefully, this rids all the doubts. We get a clear and concise winner, no bullshit, and the fight is actually made. I know it's being talked about like, oh, it's a done deal, but I just want to see it. Let me know what you guys think. April 12th, Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, Part 2. Shout out to Crown Boxing for this picture. Really appreciate that. And leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos. Ego signing off.